Katie. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the second and final crochet video. If you saw a video I posted, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I talked to you guys about yarn, about crochet hooks, about how to buy the correct yarn, how to read the yarn labels, all like that kind of like really basic intro stuff. And then today's video is going to be my little like second video of this series where I actually show you some very basic stitches. And so I'm going to show you how to do a chain stitch, which you need to do for every single project. It's kind of like the first line of getting started. And then I'm also going to show you a single crochet and a half double crochet. Half double is my personal favorite. It's the one that I use for most of my projects. And I think that that's gonna be it. So just those few basic things just to kind of get started, whether you wanna make a scarf or a washcloth or a blanket. These few things are just really important things to know kind of with whatever you're making. So that's really gonna be it for this like beginner little series of crocheting. I'm not gonna get into any more intense stitches or patterns or anything. But there are tons of other videos on YouTube if you are curious. And if you do want lessons on more intricate stuff, there are tons of other videos on YouTube. I don't know why I was just dancing, but it's like 8 in the morning, it's dance time. It's not even 8, it's 7:54 and I'm already dancing. Anyway, there's a ton of other videos online and on YouTube if you want more intricate stuff, but I'm just gonna do like the basics of basics to show you just a couple quick things that are really important with basically every project you're gonna do. So I have, you can't see because it's right out of your sight right here, I have my phone set up as well. So you'll be able to see my hand a little bit closer when I'm doing a stitch. And so yeah, let's just get started. If you don't even know where to get started in terms of choosing yarn or a crochet hook, please go watch the video that I posted 2 weeks ago because that's where I talk about all of that. And so this video again is just gonna be the stitches. And so I am going to use this yarn. It's Lion Brand Yarn's Color Made Easy. And this is in the color Prism. But I already have, I made a little doll blanket out of this right here. That someone ordered that I'm about to mail out today. So I have a little bit of leftover yarn. So instead of opening this one first, I'm going to finish using this. And then if I need more, I'll open this. But I just wanted to show you, to just show you what it looks like. And then again, I mentioned all of this in detail in my last video, but on the back, there's all the details about the yarn and what they recommend in terms of hook size and all that kind of stuff. So what do they even recommend on here? They recommend a K, which is a 10.5 or a 6.5 millimeter. It's the same thing, they just use different terms to explain the same thing. So they recommend a 6.5 millimeter. I'm gonna use a 10 millimeter. It will make the holes a little bit bigger. It'll make the stitch in general a little bit looser. And I also think that it would just be helpful to show you on a little bit of a looser stitch. But also, honestly, I think even when I made these little doll blankets, I think I used a 10, I think. So this is kind of what it looks like. Pretty sure I used the 10 on those. Because like I mentioned in my last video, even if they recommend, you know, 6.5 or whatever, pretty often, depending on what I'm making, but I will go up a couple sizes, just because I like how it looks. So that's just more of a guideline. All right, so I'm taking my 10 millimeter, which is an N, and I'm taking this yarn, where's the end? There we go. Taking this yarn, and let's get my little phone set up. I hope that you're gonna be able to actually see. Okay, hi, okay. I'll just go back and forth from this camera and my phone. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the end of the yarn and you're gonna make a slip knot. So I'll like kind of focus on my phone when I'm doing this close-up stuff. So a slip knot is you take the end and you kind of hold it from, you know, 6 inches or 8 inches or whatever. And then you take a little piece in between your pointer finger and your thumb, you twist it, so there's that little hole, and I twist it away from me. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the long piece, and let me see if I can really show you how to do it. You're gonna put it through the hole. And that's just called a slip knot because watch, you can just pull it right out. So again, twist, or you can also do it this way. There's tons of different ways to make a knot or to really do anything, but this is just kind of how I do things, by the way. You may have learned how to crochet and it might be completely different, not completely different, but it might be a little bit different than how I do it. But this is just how I learned. So again, take this, you're gonna twist it, and then you're gonna take the long piece and pull it through. It doesn't really matter how much is on this tail, but I like to leave at least a few inches because at the end of the project, you're going to like tie this into the project. And so I like to leave a few inches so it'll be easier to tie into the project. So this is the little slip knot. And then what you do is you put your crochet hook through it, and you want it to be fitted, but not too tight. So like, don't do this. Don't have it like as tight as can be. Have it a little bit looser than that. See that? Okay. So then now what you're gonna do is make a chain stitch. The length of it is going to depend on what the project is, obviously. By the way, I'm left-handed, but I use my crochet hook in my right hand. So I am showing you like right-handed crochet. And also I think some people hold it like this or something. I don't know, I hold it like this. This is just how I hold a crochet hook. I don't know if there's a right way. I don't know, whatever. This is just how I hold it. So I'm holding this in my right hand, and I'm also gonna kind of hold on to this little tail a little bit. And then this, oh, my little moose. And then I'm going to be like holding and moving the yarn with my left hand. So hold this, and then to make the chain stitch, you're essentially gonna make a bunch of slip knots connected. And so you're gonna wrap this around the back, and then now you're gonna grab the little tail with your left hand, and then you're gonna pull it through. And then now you have a little slip knot. I'm just gonna do a bunch to show you. So again, hold this, take the yarn, wrap it around the back, and then take this with your left hand, and then pull it through that hole. Wrap it around the back, get it on that hook. So you might have to move the hook a little bit, and then you're pulling this one through this one. And again, you don't want any of these to be super tight, but you also don't want them to be crazy loose. You know, like that's one of those things that just takes a little bit of time to realize the best like spacing. But also one of the main important parts is try to get them as even as possible. So again, wrap it around, pull it through. Wrap it around the back, pull it through. Wrap it around, pull it through. And then you have all these little V's. So see, like that's a V, that's one, that's one. All right, I'm just gonna show a couple more of these chain stitches, because again, this is like, you need this for every project ever. All right, so hold this like this, wrap it around, and then switch this bottom part to your left hand and pull through. Wrap it around, pull through. Okay, so that's kind of it for the chain stitch. And it's just gonna look like this. The back is gonna look like this. There's it from the side. And this is the front. So then now I'm going to show you how to do the two most basic stitches. And again, for most projects, these are gonna be helpful. I'd say the most common stitches are single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and triple crochet. Once you know single crochet, doing a half double is just one more step. Once you know half double, doing a double is one more step, and then a triple is one more step after that. Again, my favorite is half double. I don't know why, but it is my favorite. So I'm gonna show you single crochet, which is obviously, again, the most basic and the most like necessary one to know, because a lot of the other stitches go off of that one, you know what I mean? But then I will also show you half double, because that's one of my favorites and it's what I generally use. Okay, so let's get some more yarn. All right, I know that this is tricky. So if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't know what is going on, trust me, I get it. And then I just hope that maybe you can incorporate other people's YouTube videos and stuff to like really, really help. You know, this is just kind of like me showing you and my advice, but I do understand that that learning something like this it takes a lot of practice, and it could take learning from several different resources, you know? So like, I'm not gonna be mad at you if you have to also watch a couple other YouTube videos to get the hang of this, because it can be confusing when you start, you know? Now, when you wanna actually get your first row, now look at Moosey. Moosey, okay, all right. Also, his hands are Velcro, so sometimes I pick him up and his hands are like stuck to something else. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so when you want to actually work on this, right? When you want to actually make a row, what you're gonna do is you're gonna flip it over. So essentially, how do I show this? Essentially, you know how this was all kind of on the right side and the excess yarn was on the left side? Essentially, let this go and then pull this and kind of twist it a little, just a little bit. Like, don't twist it like crazy, but just twist it like a half time, just so the V's are on top. So you don't want the top to look like this. You want the top to look like this with all the V's on the top. Those are where your stitches are gonna go. Oh, by the way, if you wanna count these, you count them literally by the V. So here's one, the first one at the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I put 14 on here, just because that's how many I showed you guys. All right, so again, you want this now in your left hand, still this in your right hand. You're gonna put that yarn in the back and you're gonna hold it with your left hand. For a single crochet, what you're gonna do is, and I think most patterns are gonna tell you this as well, you're gonna crochet into the second V. So see, here's one. This does not count because that's just the yarn that's on your hook. This is the first V. This is the second V. So you're gonna be crocheting into that second V. A single crochet is you put the hook under both parts of the V. So there's gonna be now 2 extra pieces of yarn on here. And then you're gonna loop that around from the back to the front, and then you're gonna pull it through those 2. Then you're gonna do it one more time. So now you have 2 pieces of yarn on your hook. You're gonna wrap it around from the back to front one more time and then pull it through both. Okay, I think the trickiest part, honestly, is finding the V's, especially from the chain stitch. Even sometimes, depending on the yarn, it's hard for me to find a V in the chain stitch. It's one of the hardest parts, I think, of just like the beginner part of crocheting. Okay, again, see there's a V right here. And see how there's those 2 lines that make up the V. So you want to put the hook underneath both of those lines. So there should be 2 pieces of yarn added. And then really, if you want to look at the bottom, there's just going to be 1 at the bottom, not including this one. So really, on the top there's going to be 3, and on the bottom there's going to be 2. But I'm talking about in the actual like tail part, 2 of the pieces are going to be on top, 1's on the bottom. Okay, then take this, wrap it around, make sure it's in the front, and make sure that hook is like holding onto the yarn. Pull through, wrap it around, pull through. So again, there's that V. Put this through both. And wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through. Okay, I'm just gonna finish this row quickly, and then I will still continue to show you the single crochet, but I'm gonna show you on the next row because it's just easier to see. Literally getting the project started, I really think, is the hardest part of crocheting. So there might be other tutorials online that can teach you a little bit more detailed, you know, and I won't get offended. I understand. This might just be like a little supplemental video to your learning. Okay. So now this is the first row done. So I started with 14 stitches and I ended up with 13 because say you know that you need 10 across, you're gonna end up doing 11 because you're going to be crocheting into the second V. And so that first V is gonna kind of just end up being, it's gonna like disappear a little bit because it's going to just be adding height. And so if you know that you want 10 on here, put 11 because then you're gonna be crocheting into the second. See, for example, see how that's the first V, this is the second. On that first chain stitch only, you're skipping that first one and you're going into the second one. But now, when you're done, it's a little different. Now, once you flip it over and this is all back in your left hand, what you do is you add another little chain stitch. So you wrap this around, pull it through, and that's gonna give you that height. Otherwise, it just gets a little smushed on the ends. So, do you see how the V's are a little bit more obvious now? Can you see that? I just call them the V's. Again, they're the stitches. I just call them the V's. Okay, see how they're more obvious? You're gonna find the first V, which is right here. And then you're gonna notice that there's like a tiny little hole right under it. That's what I'm saying. crocheting after the chain stitch is more difficult because you have, it's a little bit harder to see the V's and to see where to put the crochet hook. But then once you get the first stitch done, it's so much easier. Do you see all these little holes like this? Right there, right there, right there, right there. That's one. That's one. See all those? That's where the crochet hook is going to go. So again, it's much easier now. So just find that first little hole, put the hook through, and then again, wrap this around the front. Make sure it is under the hook part. Pull it through and wrap it around. More obvious. I use like these fingers, but you are going to wrap it around, pull through. Again, try to make everything as like consistent in terms of the sizes as possible. So this is what it would look like from your angle. So I'm going through and then it's gonna come out the back. Make sure that yarn is in front of the hook, pull it through, wrap it around again from the back, pull it through. So it starts to look like this. Let me show you a couple more from this angle, and then we'll get into the half double crochet. Put it through a little hole, wrap it around, pull through, wrap it around, pull through. And you know you're at the end here. I'll do that last one again. Do you see how there's about this much left? And if you look at it, there's one more V, okay? So again, put the crochet hook through that V. So there's the 2 on top with the one you already had. So there should be 3 pieces of yarn on top. Wrap this, put this in front. Don't wrap it around a ton, you know, just make sure that this is wrapped around and in the front. Pull it through. Wrap it around, pull it through. So then that's what it should look like. And especially if you're just starting out, but I still do it as well. This is something like I think everyone should be doing all the time when they're crocheting, is at least every couple rows, count your stitches, because sometimes it is easy to skip a stitch, like skip one of the ends. And so again, I started with 14, but since you crochet into the second stitch, I really had 13 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And you know what I'm counting? These V's. So ready? This does not count, that's just the little end. This is a V. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And this does not count either because that's just the yarn that's on the hook. So stayed consistent with that. Okay, now I'm gonna show you a half double crochet, which again is my favorite, and it looks like this. So again, when you're starting a new row, at least this is what I do. This is what I do. Make one more slip stitch. Make one more slip stitch. So again, wrap this around and just pull through. Okay, so that adds the little bit of height. Otherwise it would look smushed. So half double, there's one more step. And the one step is you're gonna wrap this around before you go into that V. So you're gonna wrap it around so that there's 2 on here now. There's 2 little pieces of yarn on here. And you want this piece to be in the back now. So you're wrapping it around and then pulling it in the back. And then you're gonna go through the V again, pull through, and then wrap it around and pull through. So let me show you, I'll obviously show you several times. Wrap it around and then hold it in the back. So there's 2 strands of yarn on there now. Put it through that V, pull this yarn back. So now there's 3 strands on here, and then wrap the yarn around and pull through all 3, okay? Wrap around, put through the V, pull back, and you have the 3 on there. Wrap it around again, hold it in the back, there you go. And another thing that you'll get the hang of once you just crochet a lot, is how to hold all this stuff, you know, because I think if I was starting out, I would probably feel like I would let go of this and I'd wrap it around. But since I've been crocheting for like 20 years, I realized what was most comfortable for me. And so what's most comfortable for me is holding the yarn around my pointer finger and then kind of holding it with my middle finger, but not too tight because you need the yarn to be able to move. But so I just kind of almost put the hook under and then wrap it around. Put it through that V. So let me finish this row quick and then I will show you just what the difference is of how it looks, single crochet versus half double. Oh, PS, these are the American versions of these stitches. I know that like in the UK, I believe, like a half double is a single and a double is a half double or something like that. Like the names are a little bit different. I'm talking about these in terms of the American terminology, by the way. But anyway, once you get the hang of like the half double, doing a double and a triple are very similar. They just have like one more step. So those will be like really easy once you get the hang of the single crochet and then the half double. Okay, so this first bottom part, that's all single. This is half double. Do they look much different so far? No, absolutely not. But if you do like something bigger, they will look a little different. And the half double essentially is just going to look a little bit taller, and maybe even a little bit more like it has a little bit more to it, kind of. Okay, so again, now we're on this side again. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna wrap this around, pull through, okay? And then a half double again. Okay, so wrap this around and then hold that in the back. However is comfortable for you, hold it in the back and then put the hook through that V. See how obvious these V's are now from the side? So from the top, those are those V's. From the side, it's very obvious where to put your hook. So we're gonna put it through this first one. And then you're essentially, again, you're not like wrapping it around a ton. When I say wrap it around, you are essentially just putting this yarn in front of the hook now. And just kind of be careful when you do this stuff because depending on the yarn and the hooks and whatever, sometimes the hook can get caught in between the yarn. So if you kind of feel like something is pulling when it shouldn't be pulling, look at your yarn. And it might be because your hook is kind of stuck like inside of one piece of yarn. So just be careful with that. So essentially, that's kind of it. I'm going to show you very quickly how to like finish a project. So let's just pretend that this is a scarf for a mouse. So this last piece, right? Again, do the same stitch, whatever you were doing. Then what you're gonna do, or what I do, is take scissors. Look at these tiny little baby scissors and cut it, again, a few inches. Take both of those tails. I just kind of weave them through, take a smaller crochet hook, I just kind of weave them through and then I make some knots. And then I just cut off these little pieces. If you want like obviously more detailed thing about how to finish a piece, there's gonna be a ton of other videos online. But then do that and then you're done. This is a finished little piece. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped somewhat. Again, I know that starting crocheting is kind of confusing. There's a lot of steps to it. There's a lot of like really just learning what like every little part of this is. And honestly, this is still a very long video and this is just as beginner as I could go and as quick as I could go. And so again, I understand that there are going to be other videos that you need to watch or books that you need to read, or even sometimes what could be helpful for me even is like a picture diagram. And those, again, you can find everywhere online on YouTube, just Googling stuff. But I just hope that as like a little supplemental video, as one of the many resources that you're gonna use, I hope this helped somewhat. I know the angle may have not been perfect. I hope it was at least good enough, because in reality, it would have been good if I had a camera like from like my eyes, like a camera like hanging from my neck or something. But again, if you guys ever want to watch me crocheting or anything like that, I am not really gonna do much more on YouTube or on my personal Instagram, but I am gonna do a lot more on my crocheting Instagram, which is Shop Katie Carney. So if you want to see me crochet, or if you want to, like sometimes if I find like a yarn deal at Michael's, I'll post it on there. But then also if you ever want to purchase anything from me, like right over there, I have some scarves that are still available. I just finished this one, which I love. I love this like taupey brown cocoa color. And I have some blankets and stuff for sale. So if you want to see what I have for sale, please go on Shop Katie Carney on Instagram. Or if you want to special order something, you know, it's like someone special ordered these doll blankets. So if you want to do that, please do everything on Shop Katie Carney. If you don't have Instagram, that's fine. You can still email me, but I'm probably not going to do much on YouTube or on my regular, like my personal Instagram anymore. So just to let you guys know. But I did want to at least have this like beginner crochet video on here. And I do really appreciate you guys watching and being here with me. And so I hope that you are subscribed for more lifestyle videos. I do travel videos. I do, you know, what I eat in a day kind of videos, and some mental health and stuff like that as well, all on this channel. And so whether you are interested in crocheting or lifestyle or travel or anything, I really hope that you are subscribed. And I guess that's gonna be it. Thanks again for watching. I really hope it was helpful, even minorly. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.